It's day 161. I'm just rushing around cleaning up for my next visitor who arrives in a few hours. A couple days ago, I was out on the front porch sanding some beams, and Randy dropped by. I did a hard sell on making an overnight trip down to the west coast. There's apparently a forecast for 3.5-meter waves coming from due west. Someone had bailed on him, and he'd already worked through his list of surf buddies, so he was getting desperate. And I wasn't going to go. I needed to finish gear loft and a shower stall before my guests arrived. But he made some compelling arguments and also agreed to help me build the gear loft when we got back. And really, I'd been dying to get down to Rennell for a paddle session before the summer ended, and this was my chance. So I put down the belt sander and threw some things together. We loaded up his truck. I'd always had a soft spot for trucks and dogs, neither of which were very practical for me in the city. And for this particular mission, you kind of need a truck to get down to Rennell. It can be pretty rough. The epic surf did not materialize, but we still got out for some half-decent waves. And really, it's hard to beat camping around a fire on your own private beach by a river mouth. And Randy made good on his promise when we got back last evening, and we put together the gear loft here. Randy's a fine woodworker, and so I learned a thing or two working with him, even though he's working rough and super fast. The wood we're working with is the stuff milled from beachcomb timbers that Rich and Lisa collected last winter. So they're really generous dimensions, not the kind of thing you find in Home Depot. But it's also still very wet. So most of the wood that we have here still has kind of a rough finish. If you've ever tried sanding wet wood, it doesn't work so well. And I've left a lot of the pieces, like the storage shelves, rough together, and I'll sand them after they've dried a little bit. And things like the sleeping loft here, I need to flip over my mattress every day to let the bottom of the mattress dry. It gets wet from the wood beneath it. And Rich and I put up a roof on the front porch where we were going to put a shower stall. And we were going to work on that before I took off down to Rennell. But Randy's agreed to let my guests shower at his place. So the pressure's off there. But my next guest is much more city than my previous guests. She tends to spend part of the year in London and part in New York. I actually visited her in New York right before I came up here. The view from her place there is significantly different than the view out the window here. And I'm not sure what she's expecting in terms of accommodations, but she was asking if I had the means to chill bottles of Prosecco. Should be interesting. We also have another good mutual friend coming up tomorrow who's a lot more outdoorsy. But the forecast is looking pretty grim. We're at the height of summer, and it's wet, and I'm wearing a toque indoors, for crying out loud. And North Beach is two different places when it's sunny and when it's wet. So I'm hoping the place will shine for them while they're here. But in the meantime, I've got to do my part and shine up this place, get it clean and myself clean before my guest arrives. So I will talk to you next Tuesday. Thanks.